It's tough. You know, one of the you talk about Montreal and we talked before about Portland and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like your career, don't you think that was like, really, as far as like learning the business before you went to the big time, it was really good for you to go to those places before you came back to Minneapolis or before you went to Atlanta?
Sure, you get a good reality check. I mean, I should have stayed in Portland longer, but see, the thing that people always rail on me on the internet or everything I've ever read that I was a nomad, or I always had better opportunities or better promises for spots/money to go to Portland, because Vern had nothing for me. They had me in a neck collar one time. In Montreal, I learned everything made me better, every experience. It's like life. The older you get, the more knowledge you attain. And it's like wrestling. I should have stayed in Portland for a full year. They never beat me. I never had a promoter treat me so good. But Rick Martel made the call, and he was my friend also, and he bought into the promotion in Montreal, which the Rougeaus had just left. So I felt obligated to help him out, and he was in a bind, and he put pressure on me. Okay, it's friends you meet in the business, and then, it's how things work out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was great. That's the best learning experience, and that's what they've lost in wrestling now. That's really become a problem.
Well, the one thing...
Not so much for WWF, but...
No, not
WCW.
They know what they're doing, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like having said that, now you were talking about like you were in Portland, you had the opportunity to go to Montreal,
yeah.
And if you had pursued it, you probably could have gone to whether it was Tennessee or Florida or whatever.
Sure.
It was, there was a lot of opportunity to go places and learn different styles, and again, like right now, that's why I say like that aspect of wrestling is real tough on the younger guys because like with the WCW younger guys, we're watching them their Portland years on national television when they're not quite ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like David Flair. It's too bad. It's Dustin Rhodes. I mean, he had the most. Eric Watts. The fathers want to get their sons in the business, but where do you get that seasoning? Where do you get that nightly work? I don't care if it's in front of 50, 200 people. You learn what people like. You get better at your craft. It's like practice. It's like
the worst thing. The funny thing is that Bill Watts ended up being the worst thing ever for Eric because Eric probably would have made it if he had gone somewhere for a couple of years.
Yep.
But he was that name was so destroyed by that over push at the beginning that he never made it in the business because of it.
Yeah. Well, I've read an article about his dad saying I didn't push him, I didn't get him a good contract. The only one he beat was Arn Anderson, but Arn wanted to do the spot. Well, Arn worked Bill because his contract was up. Sure, he's going to put his hat in the ring that he'll put his kid over. Look at how you look at the tapes, how guys flew around for Dustin, for Arn flew around for Eric Watts. I mean, the daddy's boys, and I don't mean to be negative, but I mean that's the way it worked. But yeah, he killed Eric, and Eric's a really nice kid. I mean, yeah, he put a lot of steam on him. You know what guys like myself, like Pillman, really thought in the locker room about DDP being Bischoff's neighbor?
Yeah.
DDP gave Jim Hurd a tape of Eric Bischoff from the AWA to get him in. That's the history, what goes on in wrestling, okay? Buddy, behind the scenes, payback, whatever. It's not pushing talent necessarily, but poor Eric. Eric has never made it, has he?
No, Eric never made it, and a lot of the wrestlers really respect him now. But there's just that name Eric Watts.
Yeah.
He just never got the break afterwards.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And now it's hard to get a break now.
Are the best, right? We're strong.
Yeah, it's the strongest. Yeah.